Okay, good morning. Thanks everyone for coming so early. Erica, as usual, threw me under the bus with the morning talk. But I'm really excited to be here and introduce why Near is the best blockchain for AI. I want to start with this fundamental idea that the AI is the last tech innovation wave, right? We had seen a lot of technology innovation over the past, 150 years. We see more and more automation happening across every industry and kind of moving up from a skill set, from type of work we're doing, from kind of approach. But AI is different. AI replaces decision making, not just actual execution. And you can see this already with Nobel Prizes last year. 2 of them in chemistry and physics were by AI scientists because they built a model that can actually now do research in that field. And we're going to continue seeing that more and more across every industry, right? Yes, white collar work, we kind of see that happening, research, mathematics, but also just generally how you're engaging with different participants, where before we would delegate our decision making, right? We would go and say, hey, we want some other company or some other government institution to make this decision for us because it's too much information to process, it's too hard, it's too overwhelming. Now our AI can actually do all of this directly. And what this means is whoever controls kind of the AI technology that you're consuming, that you're using, is effectively controls everything in this world, right? Because all of the subsequent innovation, new technologies, new platforms going to be built by this AI. And so I think that's one very fundamental concept that I want you to leave with. Now, there is a paradigm shift that's happening in kind of how we do work, how we do information discovery, how we navigate computing and internet. We're going from kind of this idea of search, which was organizing the whole internet to get us access, but then letting us go and navigate the websites and analyze ourselves and make decisions or take action, to already we're using kind of LLMs to find answers directly, right? The number of people, professionals who are not using Google anymore, but using Perplexity, OpenAI, Claude, for all kind of day-to-day navigation to find answers and don't go to like individual websites anymore is staggering. Now, the next transition that's been happening in the past 6 months is the idea of AI agents. This is the idea that not just you can find information, but you can now take action, right? Your AI can go and take action on your behalf and make those decisions on the fly. And so kind of visualizing this more specifically, right now we going through the browser or maybe through a mobile app, we navigate into a specific website, we're using search engine to find it, we have payment processors, we have advertising, we have a whole kind of existing internet business models that built around this stack of technologies. And all of that is getting effectively removed now because your AI assistant will be able to go and navigate directly to the individual service that you want to use. Or it will spin up a browser, open the website, and you will not even know and see that because this is happening somewhere on the back end. And so the new model we envision is where the AI assistants that's running on your devices are effectively now your interface to computing. They're replacing this kind of different levels of middlemen, and they directly go and navigate to different services, to different smart contracts and other AI agents and other AI assistants of other parties directly. And so you still need a network to interconnect them. And that's just what Near is building, really to interconnect all of these different AI agents and assistants in the new world of agentic future. Now, the way this is going to work, right, your assistant will be able to predict what you're going to want to do and really act on it itself, right? So just to give you an example here, it's knew I'm going to go to a conference, and so it booked a flight for me. it knows I like metal concerts, so as soon as the concert opened up, it booked a ticket there, and it moved my LP position on Aave to a better pool with higher yield, which in turn will mean actually that all Aave rates will be the same across all chains. And in general, the chain abstraction will just happen naturally through this, because now your AI assistant is effectively your navigator for the internet, Web 2 and Web 3. So to give you more examples, right? You can obviously prompt it with like, hey, I need a new pair of sneakers, and your AI agent can go and source effectively all different options, right? There's a ton of brands, ton of stores. It can score them based on your preferences, what you've been buying before, select them, maybe show you options, maybe go directly and buy it. It's the same with learning, right? Or therapy, or any other interactions where you are engaging with conversation. Or finance, where it actually has an agent that rebalances your portfolio based on your own kind of interests and goals. And in general, anywhere where right now there's a job that has an agent in a name, that will get automated first, right? Shopping agent, travel agent, etc. So it's really important that this kind of transition happens where instead of you going to Amazon and clicking through the stores, right now your AI assistant is going and figuring out what you want to buy, maybe asking you for a few different refinements, and then going and executing this directly. This is why it's, again, really important who controls the system, because all of these choices are now going to become drive how you yourself are going to behave. And we have right now a very interesting state where you have a closed source AI companies, right, that, for example, have limitations where you can use it. We're just right now testing, if I turn off Wi-Fi, OpenAI stops working here. And at the same time, the open source AI, right, the idea like, hey, it's available to everyone, but it's a very unsustainable model, because you release your parameters, you release your agents, you release your code, and then everybody can use it and you don't make any money. And it's extremely expensive to develop this, right? There's a huge competition for talent. So it's really important to have a sustainable model. And so the idea that we present is to be orthogonal to open source and closed source. Obviously, open source is important, but you need a sustainability. But more important is this idea of control, right? We want to move control away from kind of centralized companies to really have control in the user's hands. And so what we call this user-owned AI, where AI is optimized for users' well-being and their economic success, right? Usually, if kind of the meta optimization function of models you train inside any big company is to make more money for that company. And so we're trying to shift that away into focusing on individual user and their success, and how we build a model around that. And that requires, open source research, it requires models, it requires all kinds of components to build that. And so we need an infrastructure to power this future, and this is what blockchain for AI really means, right? It's a multi-purpose protocol that includes a number of different components really working together to power this future, right? There's a blockchain that can scale, there's chain signatures and OmniBridge to really interconnect all other blockchains together into a single layer. You have intents to really move value and unify liquidity, and you have trusted execution environments to really have a verifiable AI computing, and you have house of stake to really adjudicate and have effectively governance for the whole system. So let's dive into some of these details. So truly scalable blockchain. So Near, started with this premise in 2018. We've been building since then, and specifically Near One is the team that's leading development. They have effectively had a zero downtime in 4.5 years since mainnet. We have a sharded blockchain that had over, I think, 49 or 50 upgrades that are happening every 6 to 12 weeks. And we just had a resharding that happened within one block. So the Near blockchain actually added more capacity to the network within one block, 1 second, and increased its capacity by 33%. And so that's idea is now all of this is live. We have effectively all the components to continue scaling the blockchain for any number of kind of users and developers that are coming in without them needing to know or do anything to really enjoy the scale. We have a next upgrade coming, which drops the block time by 2x down to 600 milliseconds, which brings us to about 1.2 second finality, which, as far as I know, is if not the best, one of the best finalities in the market. It's 10 times faster than Solana. And we have a sharded smart contracts that are coming on the blockchain level. So if you're really building a large-scale application, right, like World, for example, that's targeting billions of users, there's no single chain that will be able to hold it. It doesn't matter how performant your chain is. The only way to do it is actually to start scaling your application yourself with sharding. And so Near will be the only blockchain where you can actually build sharded smart contracts which can scale with the blockchain itself and actually handle kind of billion user applications. We have a few of those already who need this, like Kaikai and Hot, and really excited to see this coming. And so to give you some kind of idea, right, Near since launch has been continuously growing on number of transactions and users. We have over 47 million monthly active accounts, over 3.7 billion transactions processed, over 200 million kind of total unique accounts on the network. Now, the chain signatures and OmniBridge is really this technology that brings idea of chain abstraction, right? We envision that, again, as you're starting to use your AI assistant should be able to go and navigate the whole Web3 without knowing any boundaries. Similar how, as a user right now, we keep stumbling upon the bridges, which wallet to use, etc. All of that should disappear. And so we've developed a kind of two-part technology. One is we call chain signatures, which allows Near accounts and smart contracts to sign transactions on other chains. It's powered by MPC, and it really allows anyone effectively to tap into all of the other chains. We just made it 2 times faster and 300 times more performant, and there's another improvement on speed coming. And then on top of this, we have a bridge, which allows effectively to have a single API across all chains, right? Now you can just move assets between all chains, and you don't even need to know sometimes that you're using Near. You can actually send assets from Base to Solana using this technology. It uses chain signatures to write. It uses Light clients to read. So to give you examples of applications that are already either live or on testnet, you have, for example, Bitcoin application where you can literally log in with a Bitcoin wallet. And you can provide liquidity, you can borrow, you can lend, you can do all of the DeFi things you would do with DeFi, kind of in DeFi, but using your Bitcoin wallet and transacting on it kind of as if it was a Bitcoin application. We have similarly a prime brokerage that allows you to put Bitcoin in and then go and use Hyperliquid, go and use Pump.Fun, go and use effectively any applications on Solana, Ethereum, and other chains. And it will automatically borrow against your Bitcoin, effectively creating a leverage position, swap it into the destination kind of assets that you need, and execute transaction there. Fully abstracted out. You don't even actually need to know what bridge was used, what assets needed. You just interact with the application you want to use. This opens up a prime brokerage account that actually fully collateralized by all assets you have. And if you are under collateralized, it starts to reduce your position with the most kind of risky assets, right? So trying to keep your Bitcoin safe. You have a multi-chain lending protocol, Templar, which will allow you to use different assets across different chains for lending. And you have more markets that really opens up kind of XRP, and other assets to be productive across other Web3 ecosystems. So all of this using the same kind of chain signature and OmniBridge technology. And there's more and more applications building like this. On the user side, very similar thing is happening with wallets, right? If you think wallet, right now, you still need to switch networks. You need to bridge tokens. You need to swap things. You need to figure out what's going on. Like there was a thread, the other day where somebody was like, "I need the gas token on this other chain, but how do I get it there?" So all of this is actually solved now with Near technology. Hot Wallet supports, I think, over 120 chains now. They have a gas refuel where you don't even need to know which gas token is needed. You'll pay with one gas token across all chains. You have Sweat Wallet that's releasing very similar, one wallet, one token. You can pay with Sweat across all chains for gas, and it automatically kind of swaps under the hood. You don't even know that. And obviously, we have Infinex that just rolled out using Intents, which has also been pushing very similar paradigm. So the chain abstraction is not just kind of a meme that, if we look at it from last year, it's really live, a ton of people using it. I think Hot has a few million users on it. Obviously, Infinex is attracting more and more users. And so this is really technology that's now live. Now, the next level I mentioned is intents. Intents really allow to unify liquidity and create a new type of transaction where you don't actually explain what you want to do, you explain what you want to achieve, right? This is actually, and kind of as a, to compare it, what AI is trying to do is effectively, like you give it the goal, right, and it's figuring out how to achieve this. Intent is effectively the interface you will communicate with this AI agents or other participants, where you say, hey, I want this goal, right? I want a building to be built. I want, a tickets to Lisbon, or I want these tokens. And then you have participants, so-called solvers, that are actually going and figuring out how to get this done, right? And they're creating a digital binding commitment that you effectively can use to get the result, or if the result wasn't achieved, you can get your money back, or whatever other conditions you have, right? So in a way, we're moving the commerce that right now done by paperwork, with legal, with lots of provisions in a legal contract, to this new level where we can actually have digital commitments, which can be you can have disputes, you can use AI, you can have all of those different participants participating together to create on a fly, extremely fast. And this really combines effectively what we do in normal commerce, right, outside of Web3, and all of the Web3 technologies that we've been building for the past years to really kind of bring the commerce to the real world at the speed of blockchain. So the Diffuse Labs is building that, and the benefit of kind of our approach, we started with crypto, right, because this is the easiest to adjudicate, and already we're partnering with other ecosystems, right? This is not just, again, near trying to build kind of technology. This is really a system that works across now, for example, Zcash, Bera, we have Gnosis Chain, we have Stellar, we have all of this ecosystem joining because it really opens up for them flow of liquidity, really opens up their users to be able to move around. And this is kind of the vision we have, right? That all of this really gets united, and users don't need to figure out where things are and how to move around in a complex way, but actually can use this simply. So I'm really excited to see this. This is actually, from my personal opinion, one of the challenges I've had early on in blockchain has been this zero-sum game between different layer ones. And where Near is positioned now is really not to compete with other layer ones. We're really creating this future vision where everything is united, where everything is working together. And that's why I'm really excited working with all of these different ecosystems, and we have a lot more coming. Now, I mentioned we need verifiable compute, right? A lot of it, what blockchain provides, but blockchain still has limitations on capacity. It doesn't matter how much we scale it. And especially when we talk about running AI workload, right? You need specialized hardware. And so the really exciting thing that happened last year is that the new type of hardware, the NVIDIA Hopper GPUs, enabled so-called confidential computing mode. This is a verifiable computation that's confidential that happens on the hardware. So it's a hardware attestation, right? We're trusting NVIDIA in this case. But this is enough for most of the workloads when we're talking about AI. And so Fala has been one of the kind of leaders in the confidential computing for over 5-6 years. And so they've, together with us, developed this kind of framework for machine learning, and we kind of rolling this out to more and more people. So really excited to work with them. And what the kind of the other component of this is, how do we ensure that as you calling different participants, you're actually getting response. And so we've developed a protocol called proof of response to enable us to get verification, effectively liveness checks of different nodes in the network. And we have Martian engineering team that's been building this in a production way. Now, if you combine all of this, is what we call decentralized confidential machine learning. This is the idea that you as a user are able to run machine learning workloads in such a way where nobody knows what's happening, right? You can guarantee confidentiality, right? Not just, hey, here's my data to OpenAI, or here's my data to somebody else. but actually verify that nobody else will have access. This is useful, obviously, for companies and enterprises who really need to keep their data private, but also useful for this long term of the user-owned AI, where we want to make sure that users' data and, in general, users' kind of decision-making is protected, right? You have verifiability here on what actually happens in the system. So this is combining the TE infrastructure with Fala, the proof of response that Marsh Engineering was building, and really providing you a full confidential machine learning cloud. On top of this, we're building agentic hosting, right? So as we envision this world, right, we'll see more and more, instead of applications, we'll see agents that are actually doing different functions, right? Be that, planning a trip or figuring out how to build a building and doing construction. All of this will be an agent now that is actually running inside this kind of infrastructure. And so we have an agent hosting platform to make it easy for developers to build this. And so there's almost 900 agents there as of yesterday of really different variety. Everything from news summarization to DeFi, from building applications to teaching you how to build near smart contracts. Now, specifically, we have the shade agents. And shade agents is really combining the agents and blockchain together, right? So this is an example where the agent itself runs in verifiable compute inside trusted execution environment. It can access, all of the internet, APIs, and machine learning. And then it can go to a smart contract and prove to it that all of this computation is done correctly. And smart contract can then go and act on behalf of it using chain signatures and using intents to really interact with all blockchains around it. So to give you a very specific example, we had this released earlier this week. It's a mindshare agent, right? What it does, it actually goes to Kaito, checks what is the share of voice of different blockchains and different assets, and then goes and rebalances your portfolio based on that, right? So you give it, for example, $10,000, and now it's trading using intents to really keep your portfolio balanced with share of voice signal from Kaito. Right. Normally, to build that, you would need a new Oracle system that actually reads Kaito. You would need, if you want to buy Bitcoin and sell Solana and tap into Ton and short Stellar, you will need to effectively build a centralized custodial exchange to actually do this. Now, this is combining effectively the TE, intents, agents, and chain signatures all together to really power this technology. So this is just an example of what you can do, right? Obviously, you can build a lot of different applications on top of this. On top of that, we have agent interaction and transaction protocol, really allowing agents to kind of not just act on your behalf, but actually transact. And so this is an example of you wanting to go and buy something, and we have this specialized agent that knows how to kind of evaluate and score different sound equipment. And so, as I mentioned, you actually, as a user, will not interact directly with agents. You're going to be talking to your assistant, and your assistant will figure out when it needs to go to specialized agents, talk to them, and use this AITP to really transact and exchange information, right? So this just kind of a quick example of, hey, I want to buy, for example, headphones. And again, you don't go into Amazon, you're not going to specific e-commerce shop, you're just talking to your AI assistant who then goes and navigates the rest of the internet and figures out how to do it for you. Right? So it may respond directly because it has some context itself, or it may go open up a thread. So you can see there's a subthread. It may open up a thread with another agent and then get different product placement directed to you. So this combines interactive UIs inside, AI assistant, as well as exchange information and payments all in one. So the other example is, just very quickly, not everyone is a developer, right? But the benefit is we already are at the stage where a lot of code can be built directly by AI. So this is an agent that actually builds other agents. I'll keep going for the interest of time. And finally, this is the agent that can go and just navigate the browser for you, right? So this is an example where if there's no API or there's no individual agent, but you still need something done, this will actually go and open up a browser in the cloud and go and, in this case, on Airbnb and actually book an Airbnb for you, right? So this is effectively, an assistant doing work on your behalf on a back end. You will not even need to see kind of the exact pages being open. Finally, I mentioned the governance. The governance is really important because it really ties together all of these pieces. And so we have a work on House of Stake, which is a kind of V model inspired system for House of Stake. But importantly, we also want to innovate on how AI is used in the system. Starting from Governance Copilot, where you have a system that can, as a delegate in the House of Stake, you have more context, you have ability to ask questions, you can interrogate proposals, you can get context of long conversations that are happening on forum, all of this really coming together to you so you don't need to do this manually. But even more interesting is AI governance delegate. This is really where you can have an AI that is an autonomous shade agent that is interacting on the governance itself and getting feedback and ideas from the stakers who delegated to this agent. Right? This is really toward already AI governance where you have AIs participating and kind of representing different people. And final state is AI CEO, really. These ecosystems are, large, say, ever evolving. There's no single human who can actually keep track and facilitate this. And so AI is a system that can actually have the day-to-day coordination of a large ecosystem. Everything from, alignment, work allocation, performance review, etc. And so this is a progression of kind of AI components applied directly to the governance of the platform, as well as then can be used back to make decisions and adjudicate different kind of conflicts when you need a conflict resolution between different agents or parties. So finally, I'll just show you kind of, okay, this is a lot of technology, like what am I using here, right? So this is Sweat Wallet. They integrated the AI assistant directly into their wallet. They call it Mia. It's a white labeled of the Near AI assistant. And so now you're able to go and just directly talk in your consumer application. It has all the context of your wallet. It has all the context of what you do in application. It also has all the context of your Near account and kind of all the information in the rest of the places you have. And so you can obviously talk about different questions about the crypto aspects, and you can execute actions, sending assets, etc., as well as you can tap into other agents that are existing in this ecosystem. So that's kind of like, at the end, it will be a very simple experience where you're just talking with your assistant directly in the your normal flow, but it is all integrated kind of from the stack that I just showed you, right? Powering intents, powering with TEs and other infrastructure. We have announced in Denver a user-owned kind of AI open agents alliance, right? With the idea to bring a lot of partners that are working together on this vision where agents are the economic actors, where they are kind of trying to build this user-owned AI world. So really excited to have all those partners working together. As you saw, the whole ecosystem, this is not kind of one company building this. There's a whole slew of companies building it from different directions to build this kind of large vision of user-owned AI. So I'll just finish on this thought. Near is the ecosystem where we purposely build to this AI crypto convergence. We believe that all of the kind of Web 2 and Web 3 going to be converging into this new AI world where AI is effectively a front end. The blockchain P2P kind of coordination is a back end. And we're going to move to this world where AI is going to be making more and more of decisions on our behalf. And it's really important that you are controlling them and not some third party. So thank you very much. I hope we can all join in this vision of user-owned AI. And let me know if you have any questions afterwards. Thank you.